Mario is one of the most famous characters ever made. As the face of video games and star of countless generation-defining experiences, you can't get much more ubiquitous than him. And for most of those iconic adventures, his brother Luigi has been right by his side, although rarely the main focal point. The greener, taller Mario Bro has been stuck in that shadow for his whole life, and it can't be easy living that way. That's why Nintendo wanted to honor their player 2 with his very own year of celebration. 2013 marked the 30th anniversary of Luigi's first ever appearance in the Mario Bros. Arcade game. So to commemorate this historic milestone, we got what Nintendo called the Year of Luigi. A year that was sure to be full of great times, huge successes, and tons of cause for festivities. Or at least, that's what Nintendo hoped. According to series creator Shigeru Miyamoto, many members of Nintendo felt that Luigi had become quite underutilized when compared to his brother. He of course had a starring role on Nintendo GameCube with the launch title Luigi's Mansion, but that was about it. As we reached the 2010s, there was an internal push to create more games focused on Luigi, leading to the development of two specific projects in particular. One would be a sequel to Luigi's GameCube excursion with what would become Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. The other was a new game in the Mario and Luigi series titled Dream Team. While this game would include plenty of Mario, it did place a major emphasis on Luigi, with much of the story and gameplay all revolving around him. Eventually, it became clear that these two projects would be ready right around the same time in 2013. And wouldn't you know it, that just so happened to also be Luigi's 30th birthday. And so, during a Nintendo Direct in February 2013, the then president of Nintendo, Satoru Iwata, declared it was officially the Year of Luigi. This Direct featured the previously mentioned Dark Moon and Dream Team, alongside the reveal of another Luigi-centric title. New Super Mario Bros. U would receive downloadable content starring Luigi, with the Bro scratched from the name. New Super Luigi U would feature remixed versions of all 80+ courses from the original game, an undertaking Iwata described as similar to the development of full-scale software. With 3 promising games in the pipeline, the Year of Luigi was off to a fantastic start. What could possibly go wrong? 2013 was going to be an extremely important year for Nintendo. And no, as much as I appreciate Luigi, his anniversary was not the reason why I say that. A few months earlier, Nintendo had launched their brand new home console, the Wii U. And long story short, things weren't off to the hottest start. Their marketing was a train wreck that left a lot of people unsure of what the Wii U even was, thinking it was just a peripheral for the Wii as opposed to a totally separate system. When it did release in November 2012, sales fell behind Nintendo's expectations, and by January 2013, Wii U sales were plummeting, being outsold by much older consoles such as the Xbox 360. There was no need for panic just yet though, because Nintendo had been here before. Just a few years prior, the 3DS also got off to an awful start when it came out in 2011, and by 2013 it was flying off the shelves. There was still time to change Wii U's fate, but it needed to happen soon. Ideally, it was going to need to happen during the Year of Luigi. Before we get too deep into the status of Nintendo's floundering home console, we must focus back on Luigi's year, and the first game that would be released as part of the celebration. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon launched in North America on March 24th, 2013. Simply titled Luigi's Mansion 2 in other regions, this long-awaited sequel was one of those games that most of us thought would never actually happen. And indeed, it probably would have never happened if not for the 3DS's focus on 3D. As some of you may know, during the development of the first Luigi's Mansion game, Nintendo experimented with a stereoscopic 3D version. It was eventually scrapped, mainly because no one even had a TV which could do that at the time, but with every 3DS having a glasses-free 3D screen, this made it the perfect console to finally bring that decade-old vision to life. I can remember being so excited for Dark Moon when it was coming out, and honestly I don't even fully remember why. I mean, I played the original and liked it well enough, but it wasn't like it was one of my favorite games or anything. Either way though, something about this upcoming release just really clicked with me and I was all in on it. When I did finally get to play it, I was not disappointed whatsoever. I do think it's fair to say it has not aged the best though, especially when stacked up against the other games in the series. Dark Moon has a mission-based structure that is constantly teleporting you in and out of levels as opposed to the first game that allows you to fully explore the mansion. It makes Dark Moon feel quite small in comparison, and you don't get that same sense of adventure. This issue became even more obvious once Luigi's Mansion 3 was released, since that game is so much larger and has such a higher level of production value. It leaves Dark Moon feeling like the odd man out, and I think the HD re-release on Switch really highlighted those problems. But modern day revisionism aside, it was a fun, well-received game for its time, and was certainly a huge commercial hit. Dark Moon would go on to sell over 6 million copies, making it the 12th best-selling game on the 3DS. And it was successfully able to turn Luigi's Mansion into a franchise that has become incredibly popular. So all in all, it was a hot start to Luigi's Year, and more was quickly on the way, this time for the Wii U. In June 2013, New Super Luigi U was released as downloadable content for New Super Mario Bros. U. With this DLC, Nintendo's main goal was ensuring it felt tangibly different from the base game, and I'd say they achieved that goal exceptionally well. It of course features Luigi and his unique movement of higher jumps and sliding, but that was just the beginning. Each level in this game was a remixed, harder version of its original in the base game. They were much shorter, but the added difficulty made up for it. And yeah, this game is seriously pretty tough, which was awesome to see. I don't want to overrate the difficulty, it's not like it was Kaizo Mario or something, but when compared to the original game, it may as well have been. This helped Luigi U feel like a true breath of fresh air. The new Super Mario Bros. Series had become so stale by this release. We had gotten 4 games in the series, with 2 of them coming just a year prior. Their cookie-cutter formula had grown tiresome, and this uptick in release timing was exacerbating the problem. Ironically, it was a DLC that finally ended up pushing the series in a new, interesting direction with its unconventional level design. And who could forget that this was the first game to introduce Nabbit as a playable character? The new choice that they definitely didn't pick for no reason other than they already had a character model made for him that could fit with the others. Luigi U was fairly well received and eventually ended up getting its own physical retail release. It even came in its own special green case. And while I'm usually not a huge fan of different colored spines since they mess up the uniformity of the shelf, this was a pretty cute touch and made it feel a bit more grand and celebratory. Luigi U was another big success, becoming the 8th best-selling Wii U game ever. Just don't pay attention to the fact that the 8th best-selling Wii U game still only managed 3 million copies. Following a great 2D platform adventure, it was time to go back to the 3DS, with a new entry in the Mario and Luigi series. Dream Team, the 4th installment of the long-running series, sees Mario and Luigi visit a mysterious land called Pillow Island. It's here that Luigi sleeps on a bed and accidentally opens a portal to the Dream World. Within the Dream World, a lot of interesting and fun gimmicks take place, as the player can interact with Luigi sleeping on the bottom screen, impacting what happens on the top screen, such as pulling his mustache or making him sneeze to cause an interaction in the Dream World. And since it's Luigi's Dream World, all kinds of wacky things happen, usually centered around Luigi, making it a perfect fit within his year. As for the game itself, Dream Team is definitely a true Mario and Luigi experience for all the good and bad that can come with that. I personally love this series for its turn-based combat with real-time elements and the way it gives so much character to this universe that we don't always see. But I also think this series often struggles with pacing, and Dream Team is no exception. There are so many tutorials in this game, game. So many long sections of dialogue with very little gameplay, and it's frankly just way longer than it needs to be. It's the one aspect of this franchise that they just cannot seem to get right. Even the newest entry, Brothership, made by a completely different dev team over a decade later, had the exact same issues. Dream Team may be the worst victim of all in that regard, but its Dream World sections did keep me enjoying it. And despite some criticisms, Dream Team was another critical success. It is often considered among the top Mario RPGs, and certainly one of the best of the modern era. Reportedly, sales were below Nintendo's expectations, but it did still manage a solid 2.7 million copies. One of Nintendo's biggest releases of the year would come a few months later in November 2013 with the release of Super Mario 3D World on Wii U. And even though this was very much a Mario game, they didn't forget that it was Luigi's year. For players with new Super Luigi U save data on their console, Luigi Bros would become accessible via the 3D World home screen. It's nothing all too crazy, just a reskinned version of the Mario Bros arcade game, but it was definitely a cool nod. There are also frequent 8-bit Luigi sprites scattered throughout 3D World as another ode to the Year of Luigi. Other Year of Luigi festivities included various limited edition consoles, such as Mario and Luigi Dream Team-centric 3DS XL systems. I always much preferred the version Japan got because it felt more like a Year of Luigi special edition, whereas the North American version is more of a Mario and Luigi design with the Year of Luigi stamped on it. Other related merchandise could be found across the various regional versions of Club Nintendo, Nintendo's now retired loyalty program. Rewards included the Year of Luigi soundtrack, featuring songs from Luigi's Mansion and Dream Team, a Year of Luigi commemorative coin, and a Luigi's Mansion statue. Speaking of Club Nintendo, they also redesigned the site for a short time to prominently feature Luigi, including changing the logo to Luigi's hat instead of Mario's. And finally, Nintendo pushed the Year of Luigi on Miiverse, their wannabe social media application available on the Wii U, with communities dedicated to the celebration. So far, the 4 main games coinciding with the Year of Luigi had been great. They all reviewed well, at the very least sold decently, and were great ways to honor Luigi while still also being high-quality experiences that stood on their own. And the various merchandise and marketing beats were equally well done. But Nintendo was not ready to let the promotion go just yet, as they had one more game up their sleeves. During December 2013's Nintendo Direct, they announced one last game to cap off the Year of Luigi, a new entry in the Dr. Mario series titled, you guessed it, Dr. Luigi. It came to the Wii U eShop on December 31st in North America, and what can I say about this game? Well, it sure was Dr. Mario with Luigi. The only real difference here from prior games in the series is a new game mode featuring L-shaped capsules, which is kinda cute I guess, and adds some unique decision making, but it's really not all that interesting after like 5 minutes. And in the Nintendo Direct, their main selling point for the L-shaped capsules was that it would make the game easier, since their format would allow for quicker color matches to come together. Seems like a really weird way to try and sell a new puzzle game, and that odd vibe translates to the final game. I mean, there's nothing horrible about it, but it did feel pretty lazy. Dr. Luigi is pretty much just Dr. Mario Online RX from the Wii, with Luigi in the top right corner instead of Mario, and some L-shaped capsules. It seemed like maybe they rushed it or just scraped something together as quickly as possible to have another Luigi-centric game for the promotion, which was an especially odd thing to do since the Year of Luigi did not even end up concluding with the end of 2013. As we entered 2014, Nintendo declared the Year of Luigi was not quite over yet, but I'm not totally sure why they said that because nothing else of note ended up coming. The then president of Nintendo of America, Reggie Fils-Aimé, had a quote about Luigi festivities continuing with special products that had recently launched like the Luigi Wii Remote and the special edition Mario and Luigi 3DS, but I don't know that simply having those things remain on sale justified the celebration. Eventually, it was February 2014, which marked the official 1-year anniversary of Iwata denoting the Year of Luigi had begun. But once again, Nintendo decided that apparently wasn't enough. Miyamoto claimed on Miiverse that the official final date for the Year of Luigi would be March 18th. And so, 13 months after Nintendo chose to highlight Mario's sidekick, the Year of Luigi had come to a close. And for some, it marked the final chapter in what had been one of the darkest periods of time in Nintendo's history. Believe it or not, Dr. Luigi was not able to convince the masses to invest in a Wii U and did not turn around the console's fate. Sales failed to improve over the pivotal holiday season in 2013, and the struggles continued to worsen into 2014. Eventually, it was reported that Nintendo lost a whopping $457 million over the course of 2013, leading to the hilarious realization that one of the worst financial years Nintendo had ever endured coincided with the Year of Luigi. For decades, Nintendo seemed like one of those unbreakable brands that would never go away, and then they gave one damn year to the other Mario brother and everything fell apart. Now, jokes aside, obviously the Year of Luigi promotion was not actually the reason why Nintendo struggled so much in 2013. The Wii U was a horribly marketed system with a touchscreen controller gimmick that ultimately wasn't all too impactful on gameplay in most instances. But what really sunk them was the first year of Wii U output was just pretty terrible, and anyone who was there at the time knows how bad it was. The first major first-party release, if you could even call it that, was Game & Wario in June, 8 months after the console had originally launched. Then it took 2 more months to get an actual good Nintendo first-party game, with Pikmin 3 finally snapping the drought in August. The Wii U's big game for 2013 ended up being Super Mario 3D World, a game that I absolutely adore, but was pretty clearly the wrong choice for its time. The Wii U was desperate for its must-have game, a true system seller that could get people interested. And while Super Mario 3D World is a fantastic game, it doesn't have that same bravado of a typical 3D Mario game like Galaxy or Odyssey. It's much closer to a traditional 2D Mario game with its level structure, and we had literally just gotten 2 of those with Mario U and Luigi U. The irony here is that Nintendo's output on 3DS was incredible at the time, with 2013 actually being one of that system's busiest years. If even half of those 3DS releases could have been on Wii U, things could have been different. But having such a slow start to the generation on a console that many were already not that into in the first place was a death blow that they could never recover from. So while it's absolutely true and pretty funny to joke about how one of Nintendo's worst financial years ever coincided with the Year of Luigi, there's a much more positive spin we can end on. The truth is, I think that promotion gave us some much needed joy in a bit of a rough time to be a Nintendo fan. There was a lot of doom and gloom around this era. The 3DS had gotten off to a rocky start, and the Wii U was somehow performing even worse. Many had legitimate concerns about Nintendo's future in this industry, at least as a console manufacturer. But amidst all the chaos, fans were at least able to sit back and enjoy some pretty great games starring Luigi. It was a rare bright spot in a troubling year, and one that helped keep some semblance of a positive, fun energy. And let's be honest, it wouldn't be a true Year of Luigi if everything went exactly according to plan. So while Luigi's celebration may not have been the most successful, most fulfilling, or even the most joyous, I'd say it was a perfectly fitting year for the man in green.